Hello, everyone. You guys excited to talk about journaling? So it's 7 o'clock my time. I'm on the East Coast. So I'm just gonna get started. Um, my name is Carolyn. I have been involved in Lolita fashion for about past 6 or 7 years now. And I've been doing bullet journaling since the beginning of 2019. I started getting interested in it in 2018. So just like a little bit of background as to like why I got into it before I go too much into the nitty gritty of how it works. Basically, I'm like the type of person, like I need a planner. I love planners. I love stationery and all that stuff. And I'm like a very forgetful person. And so I just need to-do lists and I need like something to help me remember dates. But a lot of the planners I'd use over the years were just not quite right. They would either have pages that I would just never use because they weren't practical for me, or I would wish my planner would have like extra pages for notes or for keeping track of certain things. So then sometime around 2018, I learned about bullet journaling, which is a system for keeping a journal that is fully customizable. And it sounded a little intimidating at first, but it has ended up being a great fit for me. So if you're like me and you just are like fed up with like normal planners, this might be a great system for you. So bullet journaling is a methodology. It's not a format or a layout or anything like that. It's really like, it's almost like a philosophy in a way, but it has its own system. And it's for keeping track of tasks, events, notes, pretty much anything. And it was invented by a guy named Ryder Carroll. He's a web designer, I'm pretty sure. And he just developed this planner method, and in 2013 created a Kickstarter to fund an actual like bullet journal brand journal. That said, there is a bullet journal brand journal that you can buy, but you can use anything that you want. You don't have to use the branded one. You just have to have a blank notebook. So the system is super adaptive, super customizable. Literally, you change it to fit your needs. And the overall like goal and the philosophy behind the system is to increase productivity, mindfulness, and intention, which when you think about the fact that you're starting with a blank journal, you need a lot of intention to make it so you can fill it out and make it work for you and put in the effort to design your journal in a way that works for you. And I think probably the biggest stereotype when it comes to bullet journaling is that they have to be these like beautiful, illustrative, like layouts and spreads. And that is definitely popular for like bloggers and stuff. And that works well for some people. It doesn't work for me. You can absolutely have minimalist layouts. I like my layouts to be super streamlined. I don't want to be overwhelmed when I open my planner, and I want to immediately be able to see what I have to do that day. So most of the examples in this presentation are going to be of minimalist bullet journals because I think it's a lot more accessible. And then from there, if you are someone who, if it is really like stress relieving for you to do lots of illustrations in your journal, then like go for it. But don't stress yourself out over thinking that you have to create these like really gorgeous layouts, because you absolutely don't. You can literally, like, you don't even have to draw anything. Your whole journal can just be made of lists. That's like the bare bones of it. And any blank journal will work. Typically, people use dot grid journals. So kind of see on camera, it has a very faint dot grid all over the paper, which is really great because it helps you draw straight lines and nice boxes to create layouts. So those are really nice, but you can use a fully just blank journal, or you can use ones with lines. It's totally up to you. The actual bullet journal brand journal is a dot grid journal. I don't have one. I'm thinking of buying one for next year, though. The only thing that makes that one different is that it has like a little pocket guide. It has some fancy stickers, and it has some pages that help you create your layouts. But I'll show you my journals. So these are my journals over the past 3 years. And so I use a brand called Leuchtturm. And I'll have the name in the last slide because it's very hard to spell. But they make like really high quality journals, and they're pretty easy to find. You can buy them on Amazon. So that's what I've been using. Also, bullet journals are great if you have like sticker anxiety and you get like a really nice sticker, you don't know what to do with it. Put it on your journal, because then you'll at least have it for like a year. So as far as the framework is concerned for bullet journals, obviously it's made up of bullets. So there's 3 primary types of bullets that you use. There's the little dots, there's a dash, and there's a bubble. Dots are for tasks, dashes are for notes, bubbles are for events. Pretty easy at a glance. You can just immediately identify them. And then when you complete a task, exit out. If that task is getting moved somewhere else, you make it so it looks like a little greater than sign. The less than sign is for something that is going to get put in a schedule somewhere. And then sometimes tasks just are no longer important or relevant, so you can just cross them out. Bullet journaling also has a thing called rapid logging, which is really just simplifying your information down to just literally bullet points, just making it really easy to read. And yeah, pretty much everything is done in a list format. Bullet journals have things that are called collections, which is probably what you've seen if you've looked at bullet journal spreads and designs online, is that you can make a collection for literally anything you can possibly think of. And I'll go more into detail about that in a minute. And then bullet journaling also has a principle called migration. And that's pretty much just like moving things from one part of your journal to another. Most commonly, it's like if you have a task and it's the end of the day, like you just didn't have time to do your laundry, you literally just roll that task over to the following day and you write it down again. And you just keep repeating that until that task gets done or is no longer relevant. So in a way, it sort of like prompts you to finish things, because like eventually you're going to get sick of having to write like do laundry over and over again, or whatever it is that like task you keep forgetting to do. So yeah, those are like the basic principles of bullet journaling, and those are like the terms that you hear a lot when you read about it. So collections. There are customized pages that are for specific information. So this can include like calendars in your daily schedule, but it can also be things like trackers are really, really popular, like habit trackers. I've seen insane layouts for them. It can be as simple as just checking off boxes, or some people will make these beautiful illustrations that they fill in, and they can be trackers for like exercise, making sure you drink enough water, getting enough sleep, reading, or anything you're trying to make into a habit can be made into a tracker. You can also make collections for things like reading lists, meal plans, workouts, personal finance, like really like the sky's the limit. It's super fascinating. It just depends on your lifestyle. Yeah, and I'll show you lots of examples of different types of trackers in a minute. But the core collections that you're always going to have in a bullet journal are your daily log, your monthly log, your future log, and an index. Now, the nice thing about a lot of journals, especially the Leuchtturm journals, is they come with an index already printed in them, and the pages are numbered. So you can have a collection somewhere that's like your to read list, put in your index, it's on page 22, then it's easy to reference. But first, we're going to discuss let's see, I think it's the future log is the next one we're going to talk about. Nope, I was wrong. It's the daily log. Okay, so the daily log is literally what's going to be your day. I really like this layout. This is a super clean, minimal layout. Your days can take up as much space as you need them to. I can usually fit, for one of my spreads, I can do 4 days on one page. But it totally depends on you and your schedule. And if you're a really busy person, you might need an entire page for one day. That's what's so great about it. It's so adaptable. One week you might be super busy and it needs to take up a lot more space. The next week you can fit maybe the whole week on one page. And what I love about bullet journaling is you can just keep testing layouts and formats until you find something that you like. When I was getting ready for this talk, I pulled out my first bullet journal, which I haven't looked at in 2 years. And oh my gosh, it is wildly chaotic because I was trying to figure out formats for things until I found something that I liked. So like every single page on here is just completely different looking. And I love that. I think that's so great. You just keep working until you find something that works for you, a layout that works for you. And then you can stick with that. And then eventually you might realize, I don't like this anymore. I'm going to change it. So that's what's so great about the adaptability of bullet journals. But anyway, your daily log is just going to consist of like your to-do list, events that are going on that day. You can use it as a brain dump. You can use it for traditional journaling. I personally don't really do that because it's just not really my thing. But bullet journaling is absolutely like super useful for if you want to have like a daily reflection or something like that and you want to get into regular actual writing. But like I said, for me, it's pretty much just like to-do lists and schedules. But yeah, I really like this layout. I think it's very crisp looking. Here's another one. I like this format a lot too. This is kind of similar to what I use for my journals. I'll usually do like Monday through Sunday, and then I'll have another box that's just like my weekly to-do list. But yeah, this is like so nice, so clean. This would take you 10 minutes to set up on a Sunday night or a Monday morning. That's the other thing, is that like you do have to put in the effort to draw out your layouts depending on how complex you want to be. But for me, that's like something I look forward to. Like I said, on a Sunday night or a Monday morning, I like first thing like to grab my journal, get some gel pens, and draw out my weekly schedule. I find it like very relaxing. So this is actually my own bullet journal. This is from like literally this week. So yeah, that's like just literally what most of my pages look like. Pretty self-explanatory. I love to add stickers, but I don't really go too overboard. One thing I always mark on my journal is, you can see on the upper left box, there's like a little yellow sticker, and I have a set of stickers that I only use on days where it's a full moon. So I know if there's a box that has that sticker, it means that day is a full moon. I don't do witchcraft or anything. It's just something I keep track of. So, and then this is just another one of my weekly spreads. This was back in June when it was my birthday. But again, like pretty self-explanatory, pretty simple. Like I said, it only takes a few minutes to set up at the beginning of the week. And here's some more just like really like cutesy sort of spreads. But what I like about them is they're both really cute, but also just like not overly complicated. The one on the left is just some like really beautiful washi tape. Person obviously has some like really nice handwriting. And then just like some cute stickers, and that's it. Like it's, you know, pretty low effort for something that is like very, very pretty. And then the photo on the right, again, they managed to cram their entire week onto one page and then did a cute little collage on the other page. Yeah, if you're like a sticker addict like me, this is like such a great excuse to just be able to use stickers and washi tape. And you can go to the craft store and buy like scrapbook paper, or sometimes I'll just get scraps of like pretty wrapping paper and stuff, and you can just tape them in. And like I said, it's fairly low effort for a really, really nice result. With my current journal, all of my monthly, like beginning of the month pages are all decorated with just washi tape. So again, like not super time consuming to create. Just color code your washi tape. And yeah, rather than in some of my previous ones, I like wanted to do an illustration every month, and I would just get so stressed out over it. So now it's like, it's a silly thing to stress yourself out over. Just buy some nice tape and decorate your pages like that. So every month you will also have what's called a monthly log. When I learned about like this system of keeping a monthly log, it blew my mind, because in previous journals, I never liked traditional calendars. I find them awkward to use. They're very hard to write in the boxes, especially if I had like lots of things planned. And like just looking at them at a glance, I don't know, just visually, it doesn't work for me. And the traditional bullet journal method is you actually write your month out in a list. And then for each date, you just write whatever things you have that month, like commitments or whatever. I love this system. It is just so much easier for me to comprehend. You don't have to do it this way. There are plenty of people who do have traditional looking calendars in their bullet journals, if that's what you're used to and that's what you like. But I really like this just like long listing system of dates. So at the beginning of the month, you'll have a page. It's almost like the start of a new chapter. You'll have a page that'll have like the month, and then you'll have your monthly log. And like I said, you'll just fill that out with like whatever it is you have going on that month. Like I use mine for like doctor's appointments, just any events that I'm going to. I use it to keep track of bills, things like that. Like I said, it should be something that's not super complicated. You should be able to see at a glance what you have going on that month. And then the opposite page, you can see this person does have a traditional calendar, but you will also have a page at the beginning of the month that has like your tasks for that month. The traditional like bullet journal style of doing it is you can literally just have a blank page with just like to do, and then just have all the tasks you have to get done that month. But you can also format it pretty much any way you'd like. I do something that's very, very similar to this, which I have on another slide, but I like this format a lot, where it's just like their to-do list, their goals, highlights, events. Some people will have a section for birthdays. Trying to think of what else you could put on there. Some people will put a box where they'll have like music that they're really into that month. Like really, you can just put whatever you want. But definitely having some sort of to-do list of like tasks that have to get done that month is super helpful. So here's another one of my bullet journal spreads. Again, like it is really just this minimalist. On the left, there's just my month. And then on the right, I have my to-do list. I have dates, which is just sort of like if I have things that are sort of tentative and like, I'm just going to write this down, something happened in the future. just for reference, I'll put it there. I'll have my goals for the month. I have a box where I'll write how much money I have in savings, just to get a snapshot of like my finances. I have a box where I have whatever books I'm reading, because I'm always reading multiple things at once and I'm terrible at finishing books. So I'm like trying to hold myself accountable by like keeping track of the books that I'm reading. And whenever I don't finish them, I have to roll them over to the next month. And eventually I get tired of doing that. So that's how I try to motivate myself to read. And then at the bottom, I just have a notes section. I'll usually write like a quote or something that I really like, and then just any other just miscellaneous notes. And then I'll also put a tracker in there. Right now, I've been doing a reading tracker, and obviously you can see how well I am doing at that. In the past, I've also done like fitness trackers, though I have an Apple Watch now, so that does a lot of that work for me. I've done like no spend trackers before. If you're like trying to save money for something the following month, you can X off each day you don't spend money on stuff that's unnecessary. Back in January of last year, I did dry January, so I did a tracker for that. So yeah, that's how I format my pages. And this is definitely a format that's worked extremely well for me. And I've been using it pretty much like consistently for the past year or so. So I finally found a format that I really like. And then you have what's called your future log. And so the future log is going to be done at the very beginning of your bullet journal before you do anything else. And it's going to be your sort of schedule for the next few months. It's totally up to you how many months in advance you want to do it. Obviously, this one is just 4 months at a time. I do 6 months at a time. You could do a whole year, but like, again, it depends on your lifestyle. For me personally, like in January, I don't know what I'm going to be doing in November and December, so it's not really worth writing down. So I used to do my future log January through June. But this year, I decided to change it and do it February to July, because immediately after the future log, I'm going to have a page for January. So there's no point in writing things in the January box and then immediately writing them down again on the next page. And so I like that system a lot. And then halfway through the year, I'll make another future log that will be August through January of next year. So I think I saw a blog that suggested that. And I really, really like the idea, because then by the time it gets to November, December, I probably have things planned for January and I have a space to write it in. That way, next year, when I start my next bullet journal and I start with January, I will actually have a place to pull from for January events. So yeah, that's worked really, it's been working well for me so far. But yeah, like I said, it's going to be formatted pretty similar to the monthly log, but just things that are months in advance that you're going to know about, like doctor's appointments or weddings or conventions, or just literally anything that you think is important enough that you want to put it in your future log. And the reason why the future log exists is not just so you can keep track of things that are months in advance, but by the time you get around to that month, so like it's the beginning of, so like October is soon. So when I write out my October monthly log, I'm going to flip back to my October section of my future log and say, okay, I've got this, this, and this. That's going to get transferred over into my monthly log. So a lot of bullet journaling is just like writing the same things down in lots of different places, and just like keeping it really consistent. Just reading the comments. Yes, I have done collections for tarot spreads before. That's definitely a thing that you can do. I got my first tarot deck earlier this year. And so when I was like learning the meanings of all of the cards, I made a spread where I like put boxes for every single card and I would write down the meanings of every single one. So yeah, you could totally do that. I've seen some really cool tarot spreads for journals before. I usually restart my planners in August. Yeah, you don't have to start your bullet journal in January. You can start it whenever you want, and you can keep going as long as you want. For me, like, obviously starting in January is just like how I started it, because I got interested in like late 2018, so it worked out really well. But like, who cares? It's your journal. Like, start it in June or whenever. Like, you can make it like August to August if you want. It's totally up to you. Here's another example of a future log. This is very, very similar to how I format mine. Again, it's so clean, so nice to look at, so easy to read. This is a really nice format. And you don't have to have beautiful handwriting to be good at bullet journaling. I know if you like look at Pinterest, there's like lots of people who do like all sorts of hand lettering and stuff. That says that like aesthetic does not appeal to me at all, so I don't do it. But yeah, it's not a requirement. But if you love hand lettering, then like bullet journaling could be a really great way to practice that. A lot of people are really into like brush pens and stuff. So now I'm going to talk about some collection ideas that are specifically like fashion and J fashion related. So some of these are things that I've done, and some of these are just like things I've seen before. Wardrobe inventory. I made one of these in my bullet journal, and I'll show you on the next slide. I had never like actually done a formal wardrobe inventory before. I know a lot of people do them on Facebook using like Facebook like albums. That's not really my thing. I know some people use like Excel spreadsheets, which is cool, especially if you have a really large wardrobe. But yeah, there's something about just like actually writing down every single thing that I had that I thought was just like kind of fun. And figuring out the best way to configure it on a page was like some fun problem solving. I did like 2 different ones because initially it like didn't turn out how I wanted. So yeah, a bullet journal could be like a great excuse to do a wardrobe inventory if you've never done one before, if you just want it on paper. You can have a page for budgeting for future purchases. Bullet journals are so great for keeping track of personal finances. In my current journal, I don't have any pages like that, but in the past, I've done entire sections that are just for finance. Like I had a chart where I had like a savings goal. I had a section where I was trying to pay off some debt. And so I like would color in a little green box for every like increment of money that I paid off. Because I had tried some like personal finance apps in the past and just like didn't really find anything that I liked. So yeah, a bullet journal can be great for just like finance in general, but also like if you want to save up for something. There's some really cute layouts that I'll show you for doing that. You could do a page for coordinate or outfit planning. I know there used to be someone who sold like a notepad that had like a little outline of someone on it, and you could draw in like what you were going to wear to the meetup that day. Unfortunately, like I don't think that exists anymore, but it used to be on an Etsy shop. But you could do something really similar. If you like want to do illustration, you could always have a page where you can draw like, you can even trace off like a fashion figure or a croquis and then go in and draw whatever your coordinate is that you're planning for the day. You could do a wish list page. Hold on. Oh, Lolita Collective has those notepads. Okay, that's cool. Yeah, I remember they were on Etsy, but the Etsy shop closed. So I'm going to have to go on there after this and look for that. Because you could even take one of those and like tape it into your bullet journal with like some cute washi tape. That's definitely an option. But anyway, yeah, you could do a wish list page. I don't have any Lolita specific ones right now. I do have just like a general wish list. And one thing that I've done is like you can split it into want versus need. So applying that to a niche fashion style, I mean, want versus need. You could say like, oh, need is like, I don't have any solid black tights, so I'm going to put that on there. Or like, I don't have any white shoes, so I'm going to put that on there. Like things that you need as like wardrobe staples versus like your dream dress or something. And then you can use your bullet journal for social media planning. I do that. I found a layout that I really liked that I copied into mine, and I use it. I do use apps also for planning social media posts, but I also like having it written down somewhere. And then the picture on the right is just like another cute like monthly sort of page. I think it's really adorable. It looks like it's just maybe some scrapbook paper, some washi tape, some illustrations. It's super, super cute. So here's the wardrobe inventory that I did. And initially I did one where I sorted by brand, and that was like a headache. So I sorted by item instead. So I did jumper skirts, OPs, skirts, blouses, and outerwear. I decided not to do like accessories or shoes or what's the other one? Or headwear, just because that overlaps quite a bit with my like normal wardrobe. So I didn't want to like go through the effort of like logging all of my shoes or things like that. So I just did like main pieces. And yeah, this was like actually kind of fun to write out. And actually I had a handful of dresses that I legit just did not know the name of. So I had to do a little hunting on Library to figure out what they were. And yeah, this is nice. Definitely I'm going to reference this for like the next meetup that I get dressed up for, because I tend to forget what I have, especially with blouses. I will always forget because I'll like have some in a drawer and some hanging up. And yeah, so I'm glad that I finally got around to actually doing this. Something else you could do, I think if I were to do this again, I'd love to add a little box where I could like put in the like color of the item. Cause then if you're like trying to figure out what things match, you could actually like see it at a glance, or you could figure out like what colors are really dominant in your wardrobe and maybe like what colors you want more of, or maybe it could help you realize like, oh, like my whole wardrobe is like black and some white, and I have one purple dress, and that's weird. Like I should get more purple things or something like that. So that's definitely something you can do. I know some people for their like, especially if you do spreadsheets, will put in like the value of their clothing. And that can be really useful if you're someone who tends to rotate your wardrobe a lot. Especially if you want to keep track of like how much you bought it for and how much you sold it for. I don't sell stuff super often, so I don't really feel the need to do that, but that is definitely like another column that you could add if that's your thing. Here's another wardrobe spread that I found that I just thought was incredible. It was on a sewing blog, and so the person that made this is actually like gonna sew a bunch of the things that are on here. I think that's what it said. So yeah, she got like actual fabric swatches and like came up with a color palette she wanted. And this is for a capsule wardrobe, which is like not quite the same. But this is definitely like a layout that you could use, or if you're like overhauling your wardrobe, or if you just like feel like you need to get more pieces to bulk up your wardrobe, doing something like this could be a great idea. Is like pick a color palette first, just to keep yourself from like buying things like on impulse. Create a color palette so you can actually buy things that match. And then you can see she also put it into categories: outerwear, tops, dresses, skirts, pants, and other. And then at the bottom, she even like categorized them into like, because it's a capsule wardrobe, it's like, it's kind of hard to read, but it's like, oh, I could wear like this pair of pants with like all these different tops. So if you want to get like really detailed, you could even like come up with sort of like basic coordinates if you wanted to. But yeah, this was like definitely the coolest sort of wardrobe related spread that I found when I was working on this. It's just like really nice to look at, really nicely organized. Um, this like blew my mind. I don't think I would ever do this, but I think this is incredible. This person broke down their wardrobe into statistics to keep track of like how much was secondhand and how much is new, and like what percentage of her wardrobe was like dresses and jackets. And that is like just amazing. I don't think I have the patience for this, but like, oh my gosh, I think this is just so cool. Um, so, I mean, you could do this with Lolita, especially if you have a really big wardrobe. If you wanted to like break it down by brand or something like that, or see like how many jumper skirts you have versus like OPs. Um, tell me you love math without telling me you love math. Yeah, definitely. Like, I think you have to be a certain type of person to do this. But like I said, I think it's so cool if you're just like very into statistics. And I think they even like in the lower left hand corner, you can see they even broke down like how much money they spent on clothing every single year. That could be really good if you're trying to spend less on clothing, or if you're trying to like stick to a budget, or yeah. Let's see, that would be cool to do with how often things are worn. Yeah, definitely. I like that idea a lot, actually. You could even like put like a tally every time you like wear something, and then at the end of the year, you can be like, oh wow, I never wore this dress. Maybe I should get rid of it, or maybe I should wear it more. It's kind of a similar principle to like at the beginning of the year, turn all your hangers around. And then when you wear something, put it back the right way. And then you can see over time, like what things you wear a lot and what you don't. Um, yeah. So again, just totally fascinating. Um, do you put collection spreads in a different section of your journal or miss your logs? Yeah, it's literally mixed in with everything else, and it's because you have an index and all of the pages are numbered. So you don't need to create a section. You can if you want to, but I like to just be able to flip a page and be like, you know what, this page is going to be a list of all the movies I want to watch, and it will just be in there. I guess maybe if you don't, if you want to be more organized, you definitely could try to section it off, but it's it's not necessary, because like I said, you have an index, and that's going to sort of keep things organized for you. And that's what I like about bullet journaling, is like I said, it's so adaptable. You can literally, like, because it's your journal, you can just put your collections wherever you want. The only thing that requires structure is the future monthly and daily logs. So like I said, the future log has to be at the beginning and then halfway through the year if you're splitting it. And then the monthly log will be at the beginning of each month. But other than that, yeah, like literally, like in my journal right now, it's like there's a spread for this week, and you flip the page and it's like my wardrobe inventory. So, yep. So here's some examples of savings trackers. So full disclosure, the one on the right, that's one that I did in my journal 2 years ago. Because Hey Newly was doing their like final releases of everything, and I was like, I want the Just One Bite jumper skirt, and like they announced it so far ahead of time that I was like, okay, I'm gonna save up for this. And then I ended up not buying it, and I'm like a little sad about it, but I did save up the money, and like every time I hit one of those milestones, I would like shade in parts of the dress. So it was like really fun to do. But by the time the dress came out, I was like, I like kind of needed the money for other stuff. And I was like feeling a little sad about it. And I was like, oh, it probably won't look good on me anyway. And I just didn't buy it. And now I like regret it a little bit. But, you know, if it was meant to be, maybe I'll find it on the secondhand market. But, yeah. And then the picture on the left is very similar. I love this sort of format for like savings, because it's like so visual, and it's so satisfying to be able to like color in sections of the picture. So yeah, you can just do this with dresses. I will say the one thing about Lolita that is frustrating is, especially with the major brands, like a lot of times they'll announce a release like the week before, so it's hard to save up like $300 like in a week. And that's why I was able to do it with the Hinuli release, because they announced this so far ahead of time. That said, you could always create a page that's like, you know what, I don't have a specific thing in mind that I want to buy, but I want to create, a little bit of a savings fund for when that dress comes out, whatever it is, then I'll have the money put away and I can just buy it and not feel guilty about it. So the spread on the left, that is a Instagram planner. I use a layout that's really similar to this in mine. I really like this. I do something that's kind of similar, but I have like every single day written down. And then for days that I'm going to do posts, I'll write down what that post is going to be. And then I also have a section where I like write what times people are most active every day. But that's one example of doing a social media spread. And then the picture on the right is literally one of the greatest, most useful bullet journal spreads I have ever found. And it's a packing list. And I get so frazzled when I have to pack for anything. I hate packing. I get so stressed out and I always forget something. And so when I found this spread, it was like a light bulb went off. I was just like, this is what I've needed all of these years. And you literally just write a list of all of the items. Like, obviously it's up to you what you put in the list, but things like necessities, for me, I put like necessities and things that I think I'm going to forget, like my phone charger. And then you create columns. In each column, you write the date for whatever day you're traveling. Then you just X off the item. That way you can use that page like multiple times. And then once you use it up, you can just write it down again on a new page. But yeah, this has like this specific spread. Like if you take anything away from this, this is one of the most useful things I have ever seen. And it is like really, really saved my sanity. Yeah, and so that's pretty much it. As far as resources go, I probably should have mentioned this in the beginning. There is a bullet journal book by writer Carol. It is like the definitive bullet journal resource. I bought this back in 2018 and like read it immediately and then started my bullet journal. And so it goes over pretty much everything I talked about today, but just in a lot more detail. And he gets really into like the philosophy behind bullet journaling. So I highly recommend this if you're at all interested in bullet journaling and getting started, or even if you have one already and you've never read the book. I definitely recommend picking it up. It's not super long. It's a pretty easy read. And yeah, it's just super useful. There's even more collections he goes over in here. There's a whole chapter on like goal setting, which I think is really great. There's some examples of other people's journals. There are lots of like real life examples of like things that people have experienced where like their bullet journal like really came in handy. So yeah, this is a great book. There is also an official bullet journal YouTube channel that I definitely recommend checking out. They have like little bite-sized videos where they go over some of the concepts, pretty similar to what's in the book. There's tons of bullet journal Instagrams. These are ones that I follow. And I think most, if not all of these people that are listed on here I used some of their spreads as examples in the presentation. And obviously, like there's journalers on Pinterest. There's people on YouTube. I don't use Pinterest that much. I don't really watch any bullet journal people on YouTube, but I know that there's a whole lot out there. And then Sticky Club. So Sticky Club is amazing. They're a sticker subscription service. And I have a feeling what I said is probably a bit dangerous for some people if you're like really obsessed with stickers like I am. But I love Sticky Club. They have like 3 sticker packs per month. And each pack is $10, and you can like pick and choose which ones you get every month, or you can skip a month. They make it really easy to manage. But the stickers come in these like really nice folders, like all just prepackaged, and then you can buy a binder that fits all of them in there. So a number of the stickers that were on like the spreads that were from my journal are from Sticky Club. Yeah, they just like have really, really cute collections. And also you don't have to subscribe. You can just buy like individual sticker sheets from them. But yeah, I'd highly recommend them. It's my favorite place to get stickers from. And then last is Leuchtturm journals. That is the journal that I use. So write it down if you need to, because it is very weird to spell and pronounce. But yeah, they make really, really fantastic quality journals in lots of different colors. And like I said, you can buy them on Amazon. So the journals come with a little elastic band. They come with 2 ribbon bookmarks. The pages are numbered. It has an index. It comes with a pocket in the back. Yeah, I love these. They're really, really great quality. And oh, one other thing. I knew I was going to almost forget about this. I don't know if anyone else does this, but you know how sometimes, like I was saying before, with like sticker anxiety, and sometimes you'll like go somewhere and you'll like get a sticker from something, and you'll like want to keep it like it's a souvenir. Like when I got vaccinated, like I got a little sticker. And so in my bullet journals, I put on like the last or second to last page, I have like a designated special sticker page where I will just like put stickers that I want to hang on to from things. So I have like my COVID vaccine sticker. This was from a museum that I went to. This is actually the label from like a really weird ice cream sandwich that I had, and I thought it was cool. So I just peeled it off and stuck it on there. So yeah, that's something you can do if you like I said, if you have just like, if you're weird like me and you just have like stickers you want to hang on to for some reason, that's a page that you can do. And I'll also, I'll usually put in the very back, I'll have a page that has like passwords, account passwords. That way I just have them in one place. So I would definitely recommend doing that as well. And then sometimes I'll also have a page that has like people's mailing addresses. So those are other things that you can put in your journal. Like I said, the sky is truly the limit with these. Yeah, so that's pretty much everything that I had to talk about. Does anyone have any questions? Thank you. I get that a lot. Possible alternative. I do my collection in special pages working back to front of the journal. Yeah, that's a great idea. I never even thought about doing that. How do you balance what goes in the bullet journal and what goes on digital tools like your Apple Watch? That's a great question. I don't use digital calendars at all. I don't know what it is. I just don't use them. So that's pretty easy. Like I said, Apple Watch keeps track of fitness stuff, so I don't feel compelled to write any of it down in my journal unless it's something that's like, I want to do yoga today and I know I'm going to forget, so I'm going to write it down. Something like that. And the fitness app, I think, is pretty good. Also, there are digital bullet journals as well. I don't know a whole lot about them other than they are like, you can use them as an alternative, or you can use them in conjunction with your analog bullet journal, just as a way to like, say if you don't have your journal on you and you just want to open up your phone and like type something in and then put it in your journal later. I know that is an option. Like I said, I don't know a ton about those, but I do know that there are people who do digital bullet journals. see. Any other questions? If you have an iPad, an Apple Pencil, I believe there's an app for it. Yeah, there's lots of like note-taking apps. Yeah, I've heard of Notion. Like I said, I don't use any of them. But yeah, that's definitely something that you can do. Yeah, I will say the nice thing about doing a digital bullet journal is it's searchable, which is good, especially if you're someone who's like very busy and you have a lot of information you're trying to put in your journal. A digital bullet journal might not be a bad idea because it is searchable. Whereas with a regular one, you just have to sort of rely on the index, or you could put like little sticky tabs, but yeah. And I should probably also mention, like, it's up to you whether or not you want to use a bullet journal for personal life and like work. Some people use their journal for both. Some people have separate journals. How do you decide what to track for yours? Yeah, that's just been like kind of trial and error. Just deciding like what are things that I want to make into habits and also what's realistic. So like, and it kind of depends on what's going on in my life. I know a long time ago, I had a tracker that was like, I'm going to draw something every day, but I wasn't in the habit of doing that. And so I just failed immediately. But doing something like trying to read every day, like I've been really bad about it this month, but I'm going to keep doing that because it is like a habit that I'm trying to create. So that's a good way to figure out what to do for trackers, is that if there's a habit you're trying to create or something that's really important to you, then yeah, making a tracker can be a good idea. It can also be great for like health reasons, keeping track of your mood, things like that. Sleep is definitely a big one. A lot of people make sleep trackers. But yeah, like I said, it's just totally personal and it can change from month to month. I've done ones that I only did the tracker for the 1 month because after that it just wasn't relevant anymore. But it's crazy if you go on like Pinterest or Instagram. Oh, here's a tip for searching for bullet journal stuff, especially on Instagram. There is a bullet journal hashtag, but a lot of times bullet journal is abbreviated to Bujo. So you might want to try checking that tag too, like Bujo inspiration or just Bujo. That's just, yeah, something to keep in mind, that is a tag that a lot of people use. Just reading the chat. I know a lot of people are talking about gel pens. I was obsessed with gel pens when I was a kid. I have a few now, but not as many as I'd like. I'm like such a sucker for like cute pens from like stationery stores. I just got this like cute little, look at that. It's wonderful. I also really love, I think my favorite pens ever are from Muji. I was in New York a few years ago and went to their store in Brooklyn, and they're definitely like a cult favorite when it comes to stationery. You can buy them online, but like the shipping's kind of expensive if you're just buying pens. But if I know they have stores in New York, I'm not sure where else they have them, but Muji is like, their pens are just like really fantastic quality, and people who are like hardcore into journaling really, really like their pens. Yeah, I have seen a dog version of this pen. I also have a black cat as well. Yeah. I got the cat pens at two different places actually. There's an Asian grocery store that's not too far from me that has they they have like a little shop inside that just sells like pens and stationery and stuff. And so that's where I got this one. And I got this one at a store in the same area that was like a cute, like sort of knickknack store. There's like a small chain of stores in the sort of like DC area called Lil Thingamajigs. I don't know if they exist anywhere else, but there's one in Ellicott City, there's one in Rockville, and there's one in Falls Church, and it's just incredible. They have all of these like cute pens and stickers and stationery and anime figurines and Gundam kits and Pokemon plushies, and just like it's wonderful. So that's where I got this guy. But I mean, you can probably find them online. There are lots of Etsy shops actually that sell stationery related things. I've bought a lot of my washi tape off of Etsy. So I definitely check there because I find that like mainstream craft stores don't have a super great selection of like washi tape, or like the ones that they come in big packs, and it's like I just want one of them. I don't want the whole pack. So I found some like pretty cool sellers on Etsy that have washi tape and stickers, and some places will even do like scrapbooking packs where it'll just be a theme and it's like $10 and it's just a pack of stickers and that will just somehow relate to that theme. So yeah, that's a good place to shop if you're looking for washi tape and stuff like that. Speaking of dogs, I have some dog tape that I got recently. It's very good. All right, well, it's almost 8 o'clock my time. So if anyone has any more questions, let me know. Otherwise, I think we're pretty much done. But I'm so glad you guys enjoyed this. Bullet journaling has been like really, really great for me and has helped me out in my life a whole lot. So I hope, if you're thinking of starting a bullet journal, this has really helped you and given you some like insight and maybe made it a little less intimidating. And like, feel free to send me a message if you have any more questions. My personal Instagram is serious.moonlight. And I also almost forgot to plug, I'm a designer and I have a brand called Noble Ghost. And I'm one of the featured vendors for Virtual Versailles this weekend. So I have a special like Virtual Versailles exclusive collection that is available now on my Etsy shop, Noble Ghost. So go check it out. I'm also providing some of the prizes for the coordinate contest. So hopefully you entered that. And yeah, that's it. So I hope you guys enjoy Virtual Versailles. I've been so excited for this event for the past couple months. So I think it's going to be really great.